Hey guys, it's Sim and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 25th of March 2022 to talk about everything that went down tonight on Smackdown, but I also want to talk about all the Triple H news to start here as well, since I did have a very busy Friday. I was not able to do any videos or any news, or anything about the Triple H stuff that did go out today via the Stephen A. Smith interview on ESPN. So I do want to talk about that before we do jump into SmackDown. But before we even do that, I got to say thank you for joining me here, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. Remember, if you are here on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you don't want to pay me actual money, but you're already paying Jeff Bezos for Amazon Prime, well, then there you go. You take that Prime account, you take that Twitch account, you link them together, bada bing, bada boom, you're Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, you get free games like Madden 22 right now. You get free stuff for games like Grand Theft Auto Online, Valorant, and Fall Guys. And you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to. And I greatly appreciate it if you subscribe right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. But let's see if they've announced the Prime Gaming games. Ooh, I think they have. I think they may have announced what games we're getting for free next month. So it says, as this month is coming to an end, people start wondering what we might see in Amazon. Well, there's still one more week left, but we can already have a sneak peek. It's worth paying attention to if you don't like surprises, as the leaks for the lineups are Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Game of the Year Edition. You'll be able to get next month for free with your Prime Gaming subscription. You'll also be getting Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. It's a fun little game. Play that with the kids sometimes. You'll get Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. I don't know what that is, but I want to find out. Nanotale Typing Chronicles. And House of a Thousand Doors Family Secrets. That's a fun one. That's a fun one that I've dabbled into before. But that's big that you're getting Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Game of the Year Edition. Now, it is the GOG version, so just be aware of that. Or it might be the GOG version. But you get all these cool free stuff. If you take your Amazon Prime account and your Twitch account and you link them together, you get free stuff. Stuff you don't have to pay extra for. On the flip side, if you're watching over on YouTube, you can help us out over there as well with a super chat or a super sticker donation. And I don't know if you guys hear that. Let me make sure that's not my car. I don't know if you guys hear that or not. Yeah, I know that's not my car. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Somebody's car alarm is going off super loud outside. But hey, ain't my car, so we'll battle through. I don't know if, and they've stopped it. Okay, cool. Again, I didn't know if you guys could hear it on stream or not, but if you are watching on YouTube, you can help us out over there with a super chat or a super sticker donation. All super chats do get read live on the air. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel by hitting that join button down below. In doing so, you get early access to news, early access to podcast episodes, early access to non-news videos, and so much more. Plus, remember, if you say, I don't want to give YouTube any actual money, well, you can do all of that at patreon.com/PW Unlimited. But also, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy a game. If you're looking to buy a game like Sifu, like Elden Ring, like Grand Theft Auto 5, maybe you're looking to get something like, I don't know, Rainbow Six Extraction. I'm going to ask you right before you check out, over there on the left side of the screen or right side of the screen, creator code You do have a creator code. It's PW Unlimited. You can do it for buying a brand new game, buying an old game, claiming the free games, or on your PlayStation, your Nintendo Switch, and your Xbox. You can get it over there as well. Put the code in on your PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo Switch when playing. I don't know if they've implemented it into Fall Guys yet, but they have for Rocket League and they have for Fortnite. So I want to talk about, before we get into SmackDown, I want to talk about Triple H. Also, you guys like Jackbox, trying to set up a Jackbox game for later tonight at twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy. As far as the Triple H news does go, this was very, very interesting news. And Triple H laid it all out on the line. Triple H got emotional. Triple H almost started crying, I guess you can say, in his interview with Stephen A. Smith when he announced he will never wrestle again. He straight up announced that he will never wrestle another match again. So Triple H talked about how, I don't know, let me see if, so he talked about his cardiac event from last September. And I am reading this write-up from F4W Online, so I do want to give them credit. Written by Josh Nason. He writes, Levesque said that his problem started when he had a viral pneumonia and inflamed lungs, and that it got increasingly worse when he was recovering at home. He said his wife, Stephanie McMahon, saw he was coughing up blood and was told by medical personnel shortly thereafter to head to the emergency room as soon as possible. He said basically he was told pack a bag and get to the hospital. Levesque explained that a good injection fraction of the human heart, this is, I didn't know what this was when he was talking about it earlier, but it is, quote, a measurement of the percentage of blood leaving the heart each time it contracts or pumps, is between 50 to 60%. So 50 to 60% is normal for how much heart's pumping through your heart, or how much blood's pumping through your heart at any time. He said that initially when he got to the ER, 30%. Then it got down to 20-something%. Then it eventually was under 12%. He said, basically, I was in heart failure. Bad. He said, I was nosediving and on the 1-yard line of where you don't want to be for your family and your future. Basically stated that he was told 99% of people in his condition do not make it. 99%. Stephen A. Smith then asked him, hey, so what does this mean for your in-ring career? You know, you're an executive, but are you probably getting all them questions on, will you wrestle again? He said, no. He said, quote, as far as in-ring, I'm done. I will never wrestle again. I have a defibrillator in my chest, so it probably wouldn't be a good idea to get zapped on live TV. Now, that was from the one, I guess you could say, clip that they put out, the 3-minute clip that they put out on YouTube. But in the extended interview, Triple H actually did reveal he's back to work with WWE as an executive. So that's really good to see. Triple H stated, quote, my foot's not off the gas. I suppose in some manner, I've got to step back a little bit. I'm still in recovery, and my endurance is not exactly quite what it used to be. But now I'm back. I'm at the office. I'm fully focused on recruiting and development of our talent in the future, whether that's building more performance centers, whether that's finding the next young stud that's out there, male or female, like Gable Steveson, recently 2-time NCAA champion, gold medalist at the Olympics. His next step is, as you saw him leaving his shoes on the mat the other day, his next step is with WWE and with us. It's finding that. It's creating that future. That's the biggest focus for me. And as we move forward from there, I'm making sure that WWE is a success for generations to come. Now, he did not state if he's going to go back and work NXT, book NXT, be working that schedule anymore. That was not noted in the 15-minute interview. But again, on the Stephen A's World show on ESPN Plus, Triple H did do a 15-minute interview where he did talk about his cardiac event back in September of 2021 that he almost died from. talked about how he was no longer wrestling and he is slowly easing himself back into the job of executive at WWE. So, again, really, really, really good to see that he's back. He's working. And, I mean, it's unfortunate. The game will never get to wrestle again. But you don't want someone to go out there and just be like, I want to keep wrestling, even though I shouldn't be wrestling. He knows it's time to hang it up. And he's not like, I don't want to name any names, Ric Flair. But he's not like some that just go, hey, yeah, I want to keep wrestling. I don't care what my health is like. So, congratulations to Triple H for, I guess you could say, his career. I've always been a Triple H fan, not just so I was talking to a friend earlier, and I was like, man, I've always loved Triple H. He goes, what, because of DX? I was like, no. I was not a wrestling fan during DX, to be completely honest. So I found Triple H in the Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Stephanie McMahon era. Fell in love with it then. But my favorite group of all time, my favorite faction is Evolution. That's where I became a huge Triple H fan. That's where I became a huge Randy Orton fan. I was that kid that when Eric Bischoff handed Triple H the world title went, yes, he's the champion. So, hey, each their own. But again, congratulations on Triple H for a, when I say 27-year career with WWE. And we'll see what's next for the Cerebral Assassin. But as we move forward, we've got Friday Night Smackdown to talk about, ladies and germs. Yes, I said Friday Night Smackdown. As Pat McAfee would say, Smackdown. Smackdown. So, sneezing and coughing all at once. It sucks. So they recapped Brock Lesnar attacking Roman Reigns and the Usos with the forklift last week. In the back, Kayla Braxton approached Brock Lesnar, who was standing outside of Roman Reigns' locker room. Lesnar noted that he's paid some fines and bought some cars over the last week, but it's all good. He said he bought Roman Reigns a brand new SUV. It's good colors, blood red. Lesnar explained that management, upper management, told him that he couldn't have any physical contact with Reigns unless he's provoked. Lesnar decided, you know what? I'm going to get myself provoked. I'm going to wait in his locker room. He goes in, looks around, he sits down, he breaks the table with his feet, and then the show goes on from there. Rick Boogs introduces Shinsuke Nakamura, who's taking on Jimmy Uso. And they recapped Boogs defeating Jey Uso to, I guess you could say, earn their title shot at WrestleMania. And we'll speak about titles at WrestleMania, because this is some bullshit what WWE's doing. To say the IC and the US title not on the line at WrestleMania. What the hell? As we move forward, NMD says, I was at SmackDown. Is there anything you want to know? No, not really. I did see your comment up here that said the two dark matches were Aaliyah versus Shotzi and RK Bro versus the Alpha Academy for the Raw Tag Team titles. I don't think there's really anything else other than maybe how dead was that crowd for the Charlotte Ronda segment with Charlotte just on the screen. Going forward, with Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jimmy Uso. Match went 9.5 minutes. Before the match, the Usos jumped in the ring and tried to attack Boogs and Nakamura. The babyfaces fought back with Boogs press slamming Jay into Jimmy. The match started after a commercial break. Jimmy had the early advantage with a shoulder tackle and a wrist lock. Nakamura broke free, but Jimmy responded with another shoulder tackle. Nakamura recovered and hit a running knee on Jimmy and draped him over the apron. Jimmy fought back and rocked Nakamura with a clothesline. He followed this up with a back suplex for a near fall. Jimmy slowed down the pace with a chin lock. Jimmy sent Nakamura to the floor and set up for a dive. Nakamura recovered and caught him with a kick to the head. At one point, Nakamura set up for the Kinshasa, but Jay attacked Boogs at ringside. Jimmy took advantage of the distraction and hit a super kick for a close 2 on Nakamura. Jay was furious, so he grabbed Boogs' guitar at ringside. Boogs got back to his feet and grabbed the guitar. Boogs then threw Jay into the ring post. Jimmy was distracted, allowing Nakamura to hit the Kinshasa and pick up the victory. With that, Shinsuke Nakamura, as Boogs would say, defeated Jimmy Uso. Leave Me Alone says he was there as well. He says, yo, Roman Pyro is super loud in person. Oh, I can only imagine. No, you know it was some of the craziest pyro back in the day was Kane's pyro, because you can be on the farthest end of the arena away from the entrance ramp up and still feel the fire from Kane's entrance on the stage and then in the ring. To me, that was some of the craziest pyro I've ever experienced live, other than WrestleMania pyro, WrestleMania 31. That's just a lot of pyro going off, especially like when Seth won the belt and it's just pyro going off all over. Going forward, the recap, Kevin Owens dressing up as Stone Cold Steve Austin on last night's Monday Night Raw. Well, not last night, last Monday's Monday Night Raw. In Reigns' locker room, Lesnar was eating some grapes and drinking some champagne. Didn't like the champagne and spit it out. Pat McAfee said, that must be some of that cheap champagne. Michael and Pat McAfee noted that Reigns is not here, but on his way to the building. Cole and McAfee then discussed Undertaker going to the Hall of Fame 1 week from tonight, immediately following SmackDown on Peacock. They mentioned that Vince McMahon will be inducting the Undertaker, and the fans broke out into a loud Undertaker chant. They then turned their attention to Shad Gaspard, who will be receiving the Warrior Award this year at the Hall of Fame. Awesome. And now the question is, who gives the speech inducting, or not inducting, but presenting Warrior, I guess you could say his family, with this award for him, for Shad Gaspard, the Warrior Award. And I think it's got to be one of three men. I think it's got to either be JTG, Shelton Benjamin, or my number one pick, MVP. I think they bring MVP to give that speech about Shad. I think MVP should do it, to be completely honest. That's my number one. If it was like, hey, who do we get to give the speech about Shad getting the Warrior Award? I say it's MVP. In the back, Kayla Braxton interviewed Drew McIntyre. He admitted that he enjoys making Happy Corbin's life difficult. He said it actually makes him happy. He said he wants to wait to beat Corbin on the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. He then recapped everything that went down with Corbin since last summer. Him being broke-ass Corbin, then winning a bunch of money, getting madcap, and becoming happy. Corbin and Moss watched on the monitor. Corbin bragged about beating down McIntyre and claimed that they could make a movie about him. Corbin added that he could win an Oscar. Moss laughed and said he could be in a movie, we could call it Bald Fellas. Moss laughed, Corbin didn't. Mr. Bangs You says, I don't take JTG to be a speech guy. MVP would be great. I mean, you never know. You never know. If he's very, very, very close with Shad. So if you want someone that can speak well about him, why not? Next up, we got what was advertised as Kofi Kingston against Ridge Holland. We recapped Holland defeating Kingston last week with Butch trying to interfere. Cole noted that Holland caused Big E's neck injury. As Kofi was making his way out to the ring, he said, hey, Holland. So, yeah, my name may have been put on the marquee or anything, but that's not who you're facing. You said you're facing somebody from the New Day, and you're facing who? Who? Him. And out comes King Woods. King Woods makes his big return and takes on Ridge Holland in a match that was so short I didn't even get a time for it. I know it was less than 60 seconds. I can tell you that right now. Less than 60 seconds. But they had a very short match, and the fans loved seeing the return of Woods. Holland had the early advantage When he attacked Woods' leg, Woods quickly recovered, caught him with a small package, and picked up the victory. After the match, Woods and Kofi were leaving, and Woods was like, "That's what I do. That's my move. That's my move right there. Small package." Cole then said, "Hey, we got a message from Triple H." I'm not Triple H. I was reading something in the chat for Triple H. He said, "We got a message from Roman Reigns, Universal Champion," and then they showed he and Paul Heyman in the back of a car. They talked about their day. They talked about going to a steakhouse, stopping by Madison Square Garden, and then he demanded that Lesnar get out of his locker room by the time he gets there, or he's going to make him bleed all over Barclays in Brooklyn like he did in Madison Square Garden in Manhattan. Cole wondered if Reigns' threat was enough for Lesnar to attack him. Then we got just a god-awful Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair segment. Ronda's in the ring, and she literally goes, "Coming up at WrestleMania Saturday, I'm going to become the Women's Smackdown Champion, the Smackdown Women's Champion. Why do we even need to say woman? I'm going to be the Smackdown Champion." And I'm like, okay. Cool. So she's talking more about beating Charlotte and getting the title at WrestleMania. And then she calls out Charlotte, and Charlotte says, "I'm not there." She's on the screen. Like, you really think I'm going to go to Brooklyn this close to WrestleMania? I'm the champion. You're the contender. That means I get to do what I want because I'm the champion. You're the contender. Rousey then talked about breaking arms. She goes, "Since I was 14 years old, I broke my first arm. And I started counting every arm that I broke until, well, there was too many that I couldn't count them anymore. And you're just going to be another lost count." She said, she said, "If you beat me at WrestleMania, that'll be the biggest win of your career. But when I beat you, for me, it's just another lost count. You'll be forgotten." Rousey added, I already said that. So yeah, cool. Not much of a segment here, to be honest. Going forward, they got a little confused. So Ricochet's in the ring, and he's going to have a championship contenders match. And so out walks Los Lotharios, and Angel's name pops up. And then they say, the challenger, Humberto. Also, the graphic pops up that shows Ricochet versus Humberto. And then they do the kiss cam thing. We go to commercial. We come back, and it's Ricochet versus Angel. And they go, also, once they got in the ring, they changed things up, and the Angel wanted to wrestle instead. So then they had a graphic. It was Ricochet and Angel. So this match goes 2 minutes. Not much really happens. Angel wins with distraction from Humberto. Ricochet then goes, "Oh, we didn't let that happen like that. How about I fight you next?" And he fights Humberto. He would then go on to have a 7-minute match with Humberto that was actually pretty dang good. Again, the Angel match, 2 minutes, nothing really happened. But the Humberto match is really good. They went back and forth with some big moves for a minute before they went to a commercial following a dive. Back from the break, Ricochet was firmly in control after hitting a series of running uppercuts in the corner. He followed this up with springboard moonsault. Angel caused a distraction, and Humberto rolled up Ricochet for a near fall. Ricochet fought back and hit a Northern Lights suplex into a vertical suplex for a near fall. Ricochet climbed to the top rope, but Angel pulled Humberto out of the ring. Ricochet walked to the ropes and hit a huge dive onto Angel after he pushed Humberto out of the way. Angel then rolled under the ring. Ricochet then hit a tornado DDT off the table. He rolled Humberto back into the ring, and Angel, who was under the ring, grabbed his leg and held him there till he got counted out. So Humberto and Angel both beat the Intercontinental Champion, which is leading to a triple threat Intercontinental title match, not at WrestleMania, but next week on SmackDown. Sami Zayn was in the back and discussed his upcoming match with Johnny Knoxville, an anything goes match. Zayn says he's excited about all the different ways he can hurt Johnny Knoxville. And I'm going to say, speaking of Johnny Knoxville, Jackass Forever is great. Not a movie for kids. My son's 10 and a half. Fine for him. My daughter's 9. Too many dicks. I'll say right now. Too many dicks flopping around this movie for my 9-year-old daughter. I mean, my son watched it and absolutely loved it. And now he's a big Johnny Knoxville fan. I told him Johnny Knoxville was in the Royal Rumble. He goes, what? Can I watch it? So we watched the Royal Rumble. He didn't see it when it was live. Then I told him Johnny Knoxville was going to wrestle Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. He goes, what? He's going to wrestle Sami Zayn? My son likes Sami Zayn. He goes, ooh, he's going to have to beat Sami Zayn. I say, well, probably. So my son's now a Johnny Knoxville fan after watching, he's seen Jackass 2, 3, and Forever now. I got to go back and watch the first Jackass, I guess. Cole and McAfee started to discuss McAfee's WrestleMania debut when Austin Theory suddenly appeared. He knocked McAfee's headset off of him, and McAfee chased Theory from ringside to the back. But Theory jumped into Mr. McMahon's office, and apparently, I guess because they locked the door, making McAfee furious. Back from break, McAfee rejoined commentary. Again, he was still furious. They then talked about Triple H and everything that went down with that. McAfee and Cole both thanked Triple H for everything. Excuse me. Everything Triple H has done for them. Then we got a match that I really couldn't even really take. Oh, I got the hiccups all of a sudden. Here, 1 second. Well, then we got a match that was hard to take notes for because it was just a big jumble. It was supposed to be a fatal 4-way match. Sasha Banks, Zelina, Ripley, and Shayna Baszler. But at one point, it was 8 women all just in the middle of the ring fighting, and the ref going, I'm jumping out of the way. I'm out of the way. I'm out of the way. But he's not doing anything about all these women brawling. And I'm like, what the hell? Again, there was so much going on in this match, from the people that were actually in the match to the people that were on the outside that were getting involved in the match. And to be honest, if I didn't write it down, I couldn't have told you who was actually the wrestlers of this match. Again, it was Sasha Banks who picked up the win, Queen Zelina, Rhea Ripley, and Shayna Baszler. The only one that I would have probably been able to say it wasn't was Carmella, because the outfit she was wearing, I'm like, yeah, she ain't wrestling in that. Other than that, Liv Morgan, she was wearing, I guess you could say, semblance of gear. Natty wearing her gear, so it's like I couldn't have told you everybody who was and wasn't in this match, but I did get a little bit of notes there towards the end. Baszler and Zelina ended up on the floor at one point, and they were brawling. Ripley hit a cannonball off the apron, wiping out Baszler. Zelina took advantage and hit her Hurricane Rana off the apron onto Ripley. Zelina tried getting back in the ring, but Banks recovered and locked on the Banks statement to pick up the victory. Banks and Naomi then celebrated after the match. So, yeah, again, like I stated, just a lot going on here. Too much jumblesome stuff, and I couldn't really keep up. Then they went over, Michael Cole and Matt McAfee, that is, went over the lineups for WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 after showing an SUV pull-up with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman getting out of it. No, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman getting out of the SUV. Reigns and Lesnar had a really good segment here. We've done this. Lesnar destroys security guard angle several times, and to me, it never gets old. And also, kudos to these security guards, because Brock destroyed them, and not just pro wrestling destroyed them. Brock beat the shit out of these security guards with the chair. So Reigns slowly made his way down to the ring, and he demanded that Brooklyn acknowledge him. And the fans popped loud. Reigns asked Heyman if Lesnar was still in their room. And he goes, I don't know where Lesnar is. I'm not sure, my tribal chief. But he does know. Brock is still in the building, though. He admitted he was afraid. Well, Heyman, that is. Reigns said, don't worry, wise man. No need to worry. Lesnar's not going to do anything. We just need him to leave our locker room. They cut to a shot of Reigns' locker room on the big screen, but it was empty. Fans start breaking down to a Suplex City chant, and he goes, Roman says, how many times do I have to tell you guys, this isn't Suplex City, it's the Island of Relevancy. And then showed Lesnar next to Reigns' SUV with a pickaxe. Lesnar destroys the car, busts the windows, and multiple times, over and over and over, smashes the pickaxe on the hood. Reigns claims that he didn't care about that. He's got 3 more SUVs at home. Lesnar started walking towards the ring, and Reigns goes, oh, where's he going? Where's he coming? Is he coming out here? And Heyman goes, I think he's coming out here, my tribal chief. And Reigns became scared. Lesnar's music would hit, and he was to make his way out to the ring from the crowd behind the announce desk. Fans went wild. Lesnar stood tall up on the announce desk after just leaping over the barricade, no problem. Reigns then taunted Lesnar from the ring. Lesnar jumped off the announce table as the Usos jumped in the ring. He hit a flying knee. Lesnar jumps off the announce table, hits a security guard with a flying knee, and then beats down the security guards with a chair. He jumps in the ring. Usos, Heyman, Reigns, they jump out of the ring. Bloodline runs off, but Lesnar continued to destroy commentary. He also chased off Pat McAfee and Michael Cole. In the back, in the gorilla position, Reigns says that he promises to defeat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania and become the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. Brock grabbed another chair, hit a security guy with it, and then posed on the announce desk with the WWE Championship and the chair. There we go. I did miss one thing. Also, next week, it was announced on Smackdown. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal with Finn Balor, the United States Champion, Apollo Crews, Commander Aziz, Madcap Moss, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, Drew Gulak, Reggie, the Viking Raiders, Mansoor, Shanky, R-Truth, Jinder Mahal, Robert Roode, and Damian Priest will all be competing on SmackDown in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So I go, fuck. This match can't even be at the pay-per-view. And then, triple threat, it's Humberto, Angel, and Ricochet for the IC title next week. IC title, not on the line at WrestleMania. And then, US champ is in the Battle Royal, so he's not defending at WrestleMania most likely. It's like, hey, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Not putting the IC title and the US title on the line at WrestleFrickin' What? That's empty now. It's such bullshit. And no word on the women's battle royal if they're even doing one. So we'll see on that. But that, ladies and gentlemen, was Friday Night SmackDown. Mr. Banks says, I hope Mania is a clean match, so to speak, between Roman versus Lesnar. No Uso crap. Yeah, I mean, I can see the Usos trying to get involved. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and Twitter.com/PW Unlimited. But now I want to know what you guys thought of tonight's show. Also, remember a little bit later, we're going to be trying to get a game of Jackbox going at Twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy. As far as the polls do go, far as the Twitch poll goes, 100% like tonight's SmackDown. As far as the Twitter poll does go, let's pull that one up here. Twitter. 52% on Twitter thought the show was just all right. 32% liked it, and 16% didn't like tonight's SmackDown. And finally, 64% liked SmackDown. 26% thought it was just all right, and 9% did not like SmackDown. As far as the text messages do go, let's pull those up here. Where it says, you see Naomi and Sasha Banks winning the women's tag team titles at WrestleMania. Sure, any of these 4 teams can walk out the champion. It's not going to make a difference either way, to be completely honest. Any information on Johnny Gargano will return when Johnny Gargano will return to WWE? No clue, but he's going to be working WrestleCon next weekend in Dallas. When is Bayley coming back and who will she go after? No clue on who she'll go after, but I'm hearing possibly not next week, but the following. Right after WrestleMania. The first says, I think SmackDown did all right tonight. What WWE do with Shotzi and WWE? What? Would you like a win? Would you like win woman? Okay, I can't. I can't. If you can't. Said it once, I'll say it a million times. I'm dyslexic. If you can't write proper sentences, I'm not going to read them because it just confuses me. Last text message here says, I liked SmackDown tonight. Who you think challenged for the NXT Women's Tag Championships to stand and deliver? Nobody. Let's talk about that in a second. And who and who you like win IC title next week on Go Home show before WrestleMania. I think Ricochet retains. And as far as the NXT Women's Tag Titles at WrestleMania, no one is challenging for those because I'm still trying to get it confirmed by multiple sources. But I was given a hint by one source: Gigi Dolan's injured, and so those titles will not be on the line to Stand and Deliver. With that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and Twitter.com/PW Unlimited. I'm going to try and be live a little bit later. Twitch.tv/Timmy Buddy, as me, John, and the guys are going to try and get a game of Jackbox going. Not sure what we're going to actually play. There's 7 different Jackbox packs. We got them all. We'll figure it out. We'll probably jump into something from pack 7. So, well, no. I think there's 8 Jackbox packs now. Let me see. I got them all. We got... we're going to be playing some Jackbox. We just need enough people to actually get an entertaining game going. So join us there a little bit later. Go over there, hit that notification button so that way you know when I do go live. We'll have some fun. We'll have a ton of fun. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your Friday night. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next time. All right, if you're still watching on Twitch,